Having that first call, I was so embarrassed. I told her, sweetheart, I'll make this right somehow, but please, dear God, don't say anything. Don't tell anybody. I don't want people to know what's going on.
Right.
And I always get emotional when I do this, but my beautiful wife, Susan, is really smart. And she knew that I was in over my head and that we needed help. And she reached out to Frank Thiamingo, who used to be the president of the New Jersey Second Amendment Society. He's still a beautiful friend of mine. And together they started raising money, and thank God we got enough money raised to not only get me out of jail on bail, but we were able to pay a $10,000 retainer to the to an attorney to get started on my case.
10,000. So you need $2,000 to get out, and another 10 on top of that. So literally in a day, you're $12,000 in debt.
And that does not count time off of work. That does. There were a lot more expenses than just that, but it just. Sorry, I get emotional when I talk about this.
Holy moly!
But if I wouldn't have had my listeners, if I wouldn't have had the amazing Second Amendment community, I could still be in jail.
Wow. That's wild.
If I could throw a plug in, if you don't mind.
Please.
The Armed Citizens Legal Defense Network, Marty Hayes and the gang there.
Out of Seattle.
Yes. They heard about me through a listener of mine who, the listener's thinking was that, look, he's going through this right now, and with the notoriety that's likely to come, he could be in a real mess again because people might be going after him. And so this listener bought me a membership. Marty said, we cannot help him with this thing he's going through right now.
Because you weren't a member before?
Because I wasn't a member when it happened. But he raised money for me, and he recommended the attorney in his network that we should connect with.
That's amazing.
And he said, when I talked to him, he says, I cannot help you financially, but I will help you in any other way I can, and he has.
That's incredible.
And that's the kind of man he is.
That leads to, I'm going to bring this up, that leads to the kind of people that are in the gun community. And if you listen to the news and all that stuff, you wouldn't think that, you wouldn't think that we have all of our teeth.
I do.
I have one that was extracted a long time ago, but it's in the back. You can't see it. But you wouldn't. I mean, there's a lot of people that think that gun owners aren't friendly and cooperate and don't get along. I have found the complete opposite. When I've contacted people to do interviews like this, everyone's like, "What can I do? What do you need? What can I do for you to help promote your stuff?" And it's been great. So Marty was there to help you, to do what he can.
Yeah.
Which is awesome. And you guys had your podcast. You've been doing the podcast for quite a while.
A little over 4 years, about 4.5 years.
4 years. Wow, that's cool. Very cool. And it's a great podcast. You guys have a lot of people on there. And what I think is pretty wild is you guys have a lot of people from a lot of different areas.
Well, where that came from, not just the geographics. The geographics are a happy accident. I found when I started adding people to my show that we ended up having these amazing conversations because everybody's got a different perspective. For example, I've got 2 people on my show that absolutely love the 1911. I'm not a 1911 fan.
Yeah.
I like Glocks. But we have respectful conversations when we have a difference of opinion. And I enjoy the give and take. I enjoy the conversation. I enjoy exploring the topics. And apparently it's fairly rare for people to have respectful conversations on the media anymore.
Right? It is kind of rare. It's great stuff. How can, we got to wrap things up here. How can people find the Polite Society Podcast?
Go to politesocietypodcast.com or any search you do, wherever you get your stuff. If you enter Polite Society Podcast in a search, we'll pop right up.
Awesome. And what else do you guys have? Facebook page?
We have Facebook page at Polite, just search again, Facebook Polite Society Podcast. We're on Twitter, but I don't use it. I don't
get how Twitter works. My Facebook stuff goes to Twitter. I don't get how it works.
Yeah, I don't use it.
Twitter seems to be a place where a lot of people argue. Personally, I'm divorced. I'm done with arguing with people, so I don't spend a lot of time on Twitter.
Yeah, yeah. I enjoy, and it's not. I enjoy discussions. I do not like arguments.
I hear.
And so Facebook, it just seems to be the place where you can discuss most readily.
Usually it's a decent discussion. Sometimes not so much, but what are you going to do?
Yeah.
You know, some cool stuff that these guys do at the Polite Society Podcast is sometimes they do Facebook Lives of their podcast, which is pretty cool. And you guys do all your interviews and connect with all the people through Skype, right?
Right. We're looking into some other options, but Skype has worked for us so well for so long that it's kind of tough to move away from. But yeah, we do every episode when we record it, we just pop it up on Facebook Live. Now, warning, you get the sausage. You get to see the sausage getting made. It's all the goof ups, all the stuff that gets edited out of the main feed when you pick up our show on podcast.
Cool.
It's there. And we also, the thing we do that I'm the most proud of is we broadcast Gun Rights Policy Conference every year, which is why I'm here this weekend.
Awesome. All right, so listen, if you guys do not check out the Polite Society Podcast, you certainly need to. I got to tell you, it was nice to spend time hanging out with you.
Absolutely.
And you know, we hear you on the podcast talking about all the other stuff, but I don't know if people get a chance to hear what your story is and how you got to how to go through all that crap. And you know, it's great that you had people that were supportive and encouraging and help you get through it. And this has been a lot of fun, man. I look forward to doing it again.
It's been a blast, and we're going to get my truck up to your area, and we'll go riding shotgun with Charlie again.
Truck.
But you're going to be shotgun this time.
Awesome. I that was literally when a year ago. I'm like, all right, so this guy Paul's a trucker. He's going to let me drive the truck. I got to put the cameras in the truck, and he's going to let me drive this. And you're like, yeah, I can't do that.
No. Crap. Insurance will not allow it, man.
We don't have to tell them.
It goes on YouTube, dude. Well, you guys will keep it secret, right?
Yeah. We'll black out our eyes. It'll be fine. Listen, you guys, check out Paul Lathrop and the Polite Society Podcast. Paul, thank you very much. It's been an honor to have you. Thanks for Riding Shotgun. You guys need to check out all the Riding Shotgun stuff on Facebook and on iTunes. I got the Google Play. If you're not an iTunes person, that's okay too. So I hope you guys check it out and subscribe, and we will talk to you guys later. Thanks a lot.